If you're new here, hi, I'm Rose Kelly. I am a romance and erotic author. You can check out all my novels and short, very spicy novellas linked down below. You can download them right now onto your Kindle. I also do an amazing primal connection self-care page over on Patreon. Woo! You can check out all the links down below. If you would love to see some of our books come to life in film format, I do an OnlyFans series, which is Rose Kelly PPV, and you can click on over there and see amazing stories from our romance world from the novels come to life. It's so much fun to do that. Hey beautiful biscuits, welcome back to the channel. I want to say thank you to everyone that took part on our 11-day manifestation. Woo! Power through on Patreon. If you missed it, there's a replay of all the things. You can go sign up for the homemaker tier and it's all available on there, plus the whole back catalog for that tier. As soon as you sign up, you can just binge watch it in a month and have a great time, or come along the whole year for our connections and our primal manifestations. Boy, it felt good to do a solid 11 days where we were just approaching manifesting from different angles, you know? I wanted to get away from doing just videos and really incorporate the printables and the photos and the chats. And I made our first private group chat on Patreon. I finally figured out how to get that to work on the app. So that's really fun. So I'm going to say hello over down there. And that's for every tier. But it just felt good to do it. It felt like January needed to be a special month. And for me, this month, I really took time to hibernate for the winter. And I'm not done yet. I think I'm going to take a little chunk off in February too. But you biscuits that follow along on Patreon and even on my other social media platforms on here and on Instagram know that I've talked about that I really hit, I don't even want to say burnout because it felt deeper than that, but I just hit this burnout level last year where I just could not get to a happy, consistent place. And I couldn't figure out why, you know? And so I took December to really slow down. And then this month I have really said, in January, I'm going to hibernate a little bit. You know, I'm going to cozy on in and not rush so much. So we lucked out, sort of lucked out, but we got a big freezing ice storm and snow and all sorts of stuff that really just like literally made me stay home. I stayed home for 10 days straight, didn't leave the house, which was glorious. I didn't know I needed to stay home for 10 days straight. But ever since we've moved to this new city, when did we move? We moved in October 2022. So not even like a year and a half. We've just been going constantly. It's been like just a constant push of being busy in my like personal family life and just, you know, all of that chaos. And it really wasn't leaving a lot of room for me to feel nurtured creatively, because I love creating fun content. I love writing. I love making short films. I love doing this YouTube and Instagram reels. They're things that actually bring me a lot of joy and satisfaction as a person, as a woman, versus just being a mom or a homemaker. And I was just all burnt out from all angles, right? Rushing too much. So I took January to really spend time hibernating. So I did 10 days where we didn't leave the house, and the rest of the month I've really just slowed down. You know, I haven't made as much content. You've probably noticed that. I've kept it really simple. I've kept home stuff really simple. I've just taken a step back from needing to do and be super productive or just super on all the time. Is I let myself sit and watch YouTube videos, you know, and I didn't have to be folding laundry. I didn't have to be going over some kind of preschool or homeschool thing, or like, I still multitask obsessively, you know, my workaholic little self, but I really let myself step back a little bit. And that was glorious. Not maybe great for my bank account and my business growth, but really important for me mentally and physically. And so that's a reminder, like, hibernating doesn't mean you're going to be more successful or you're somehow going to like manifest all this money into your life or all these successful PowerPoints that you've been trying to hit. But it does mean that you're going to recenter. And you know, on Patreon I talk so much about this primal inner being, which is like our essence, our soul, right? This less ego-driven, more joyful, divine-driven self that gives us so much knowledge if we would just listen to it. And that is what you really get in touch with when you actually hibernate. So I highly recommend take February and hibernate a little bit. Take as much off of your to-do list as you possibly can. Cancel extracurriculars for your kids and for yourself. Push work projects as much as financially you can. Obviously we all still have to work and pay bills and feed ourselves and our families, but push things as much as you can to give yourself a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks where sure, you're still doing the day-to-day, but you're giving yourself a conscious decision to rest. And sometimes I'll see self-care creators that are like, they have fabulous things to share, wonderful books, wonderful documentaries, great things to say about their lives in social media. But I often think when they're like, I did a 4-week total detox where I didn't do anything, none of them are parents. None of them are small business owners that actually have to work for a living. And so I always think that's a little disingenuous. I'm like, well, yeah, that's great if you can just take a month off and do nothing and have no responsibilities. But I think there's a way to meet in the happy middle, which, the middle path is a beautiful way to bliss, of hibernating this time of year, but still being a present parent and partner and businesswoman and general fabulous kick butt boss babe. Because I feel like sometimes we've told ourselves as mamas we should be such boss babes. Although I feel like that term has gone out and a new one hasn't come in, so I'm just going to use it until I hear a new slang term this year. But the whole hustle energy, instead of realizing that sometimes it's about more than getting all of our kids' needs met, all their extracurriculars, all their special activities, their sports, and getting all of our business stuff met and just growing constantly. Sometimes it's about standing still, sitting with stillness, and taking some time to hibernate this winter. And it's not that suddenly everything's going to make sense or suddenly you're going to be so successful at juggling everything, but it's going to give you time to relax and to reset your nervous system, which I know, and this is something I realized about the last several years, is after the last 4 years, my nervous system is shot. And I didn't know it because I was so on survival mode that I was just going. Like I was white knuckling it through. Obviously you can white knuckle things and still have moments of joy, right? That's not to say that you aren't experiencing real joy, but when I look back at it, I think all the stress of the last several years really just shot my nervous system to all heck. I think I was just surviving on adrenaline, and my body has been kind of slowly crashing from that. And so I've really had to be thoughtful and mindful of how am I taking good care of myself? Am I focusing on real wellness? Not on smoothies and green powders and diets, actual wellness, so that I'm emotionally healed and happy, so that I'm physically in a good space, and so that my life doesn't feel like constant chaos. And that's kind of where I had gotten to, is it wasn't even chaotic, it was just total deep burnout where I was doing so much that I couldn't really be present for what I was doing properly to enjoy it. And that's such a tricky phase to get to, because for me, as a total workaholic, why am I not doing everything? You biscuits know, I have my daughter almost 3 years ago now. Then what do I go and do? I start a new business with my glamping business. I start homesteading. We do a big giant move, and looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, why did I put so much on my plate? And I really felt like I had to, if there was a single square inch on my manifesting plate to put on, I was going to manifest something to fill that, instead of just having space, right? Clear, non-chaotic space in my life to live. And that's been such a hard lesson to learn. I have failed continually year after year of learning that. And I think finally last year, my nervous system just caught up with me. And then in December, I really started feeling this energy shift. I had let my inner child have her tantrum for a year. I had a solid year of a tantrum where I was just grumpy and ill-tempered and complaining to everybody and could not get in the groove that my normal personality is in. And I got really conscious in last spring, last summer. I was like, I'm just gonna let my inner child have a tantrum. She clearly needs to. She needs to get out this inner tantrum. And oh my God, it was so good for me, because it was really uncomfortable and disconcerting and disorienting to go through that and allow myself a solid year of a tantrum. but it just let my nervous system reset. And now I'm in this real place of, I'm feeling okay about taking some moments to rest, not constantly pushing. I have so much on my to-do list that I have pushed off. You know, there's a bunch of home renovations that I need to do, and I really just put stuff on the back burner. And it's funny because I say that and then I think about what I've gotten done in the last couple months, because I just had major appliance repair, home issues, break in the last 6 months. There's been so many things. So when I actually look at it, I was doing a ton. But to my burnt out nervous system that was just going on adrenaline, it was like, oh, keep packing in more, keep packing in more. And as I've slowly started to slow down, I've been like, it's okay. You know, it's okay to have these moments where we're having quite a peaceful time. And I'm really hoping that this is something, I make this video in part to be accountable, that at the end of this year, I really want to have stuck with slowing down a little bit. And it's so hard. I was talking to my brother about this. I was like, oh, maybe I should do this and this and this. And I've told him that I really want to slow down and not push myself so hard. And he was like, you know what, Rose, what have you been telling me? Are you slow? And I'm like, yeah, you're right, slow down, slow down. And it has made life so much more enjoyable. And I'm still in the process of unpacking things to be able to slow down. But it's beautiful. I love giving myself permission to hibernate this time of year. I've never done that in the winter. Often I'll travel during the winter for content creation, or I'll just be extremely busy, and then, you know, spring and summer comes and then I'm super busy. And I remember last winter just being frantic and doing stuff. You know, I did so much stuff just to keep busy. And this year I'm not doing that. I am slowing down. This is your permission, biscuits, to hibernate. Leave a little emoji down below. Leave like a little sleepy emoji. If you too are ready to hibernate, I feel like we have to give ourselves permission to reset our nervous systems. After everything that's been going on over the last several years, this crazy year in the US right now, and election years are always weird, and this is a particularly weird election year, where we just need to like allow ourselves and our nervous system to be soothed for a moment. And it's powerful, and we get to give ourselves that permission, right? We don't have to like turn our lives upside down to do this. I was gonna make a labyrinth joke, but I can't remember quite what David Bowie says in the end of that movie. You know, you've made me turn the world upside down. It's such a good line. Oh, First True Love. Oh, Labyrinth, David Bowie. Excellent character. If you have not seen that, best movie of all time. Go watch it. I don't care that it's got Muppets in it. David Bowie's a Goblin King, hands down. The best. In fact, that's what I'm going to go do later today. Once I've finished my slowed down things that I have to do every day, because we still exist in the real world, I'm going to hibernate and watch a little Labyrinth. See on Netflix. Or is that where Labyrinth is? I don't know. We'll see. I'll post it on Instagram and tell you where I found it.